Welcome back. It's Saturday. I missed you guys. I wasn't around last week. Unfortunately, this show was gonna happen last week, but we had Rosh Hashanah last week, and our guest couldn't make it, so we pushed it off to this week. And I'm really excited. We're gonna have some fun today, but hopefully y'all have been doing all right since last we met a couple weeks ago. I've been busy. Last week, I was out at Bridge Family and doing my Bridge Family thing. And Thursday night, much to my surprise, um, with Pacific Range was none other than Jade, former singer for Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros, came in and sat in. That was a treat. Not much streaming going on. People, I mean, we still got our string cheese on Fridays. We still got our widespread panic on Sundays. But Dead's Friday nights are done. The Dead and Company on Saturdays done. Fish isn't doing another one till the end of the month. So we're kind of back to our little living room concerts and the whatnot. So I'm curious when Southern California is finally going to come around and start doing more drive-ins for the jam band community. It seems like nobody's doing it. San Francisco's doing it. East Coast is crushing it. I mean, they're tearing it up out there. And I don't know why we're not doing it. So if you got the ways and the means, please put on a jam band drive-in. We want that stuff. So today, before that's pretty much my intro. But today I've got somebody who 1 degree separation from music, but not really, because music is the reason why and the Grateful Dead are the reason why he's doing what he's doing. But for the last 25 years, our guest today has been working his tail off to preserve the history of film and audio media, and basically he calls himself a doctor because he brings life back into near dead patients of film and old media, and he has revived some of the coolest stuff for Hollywood. If you've seen Edward Burns Burns documentaries, Discovery Channel, History Channel, this guy's provided a lot of that and revived and restored a lot of the stuff. I hope I'm getting this right, Lance. Lance Watsky, I'm gonna bring him in right now. There he is.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad you all could join me today. I hope some of you enjoy what we have in store for you.
Yeah, we've got a lot of. I'm gonna turn your mic off real quick because we got that echo. But we've got a lot of clips that Lance has compiled over his storied career of 25 years, which is this December. And we're going to show some of it and give a little glimpse into your life, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
What a long, strange trip it's been.
Well, I want to, let's fix before we dive right in. I want to give people kind of a background on what you do, because you don't just like digitally transfer and go, oh, here's a VHS cassette, let's put it on a CD. So give everybody a little background about what you do.
Certainly. So a lot of what I have learned how to do over the decades is how to go into collections and assess what people have. So often people look at the physical condition of the material, but really it's as important, possibly more important, to determine, well, what is this material? In many cases, we may and sometimes only have one chance to play something, especially if it's a rare format like a 2-inch tape or something that's physically challenged, or the technology to play it is obscure. But in many cases, we can play at least one more time to try to establish what is this material. If it's film, can we wind through the material? If it's video, can we play it or see any information that's on the box? Notes that have to do with this so that I can see what this is. Once we establish what something is, then we could start to begin to think about the research value. From the research value, we're then able to put together a better plan of attack. Are you still there, Billy?
I am.
Oh, okay, excellent, because she disappeared.
No, no. I was just giving you a little solo opportunity.
Ah, okay.
I'm here.
I'm a team player, so I'm used to
Yeah, no.
being part of a team.
Now, you, we started. We talked about this before. You started way back. Your kind of intro into this was Mickey Hart's work with the. I know we're going to get in this a little later, but I wanted to kind of set up because the first thing we want to play is that clip from the Starry Plow.
Well, let's start off a little bit before that.
Okay.
So, I was originally born in New York. I was born in Queens. Have a wonderful family. Both of my parents have passed, so I miss them dearly. But I have my sister Robin and her family, my brother-in-law Jeff, and they have two grown children, adults that now have my great nephews, and my older brother Craig. He became a music critic. He wrote several books. First book was on folk music. It was really fun growing up with Craig. He had an amazing, amazing collection of music. And my earliest memories of sharing a room with him, all the walls were covered with pictures of musicians, right? Some of those pictures today would be wonderful to go back and visit some of those early pictures. But he had a lot of albums. He had a lot of recordings. He wound up hitchhiking one year to California, and he left me with his recording collection. And before he did the trip, he made sure that I knew how to take his reel-to-reel tapes and thread the machine. That was really the first time that I had actually worked with magnetic tape, right? And wonderful opportunity. He left his drum sets, left all of his records, and so I had a wonderful time. When I was 12, we moved down to South Florida, and I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. I wound up first going to community college where I got a degree, started my degree in marketing management, but then found out that, instead of just studying business, I could go over to the art department and take photographs, and wound up finding out about photography. And so I hightailed it over to the fine arts school to start studying photography. That led to going on to University of South Florida, where at University of South Florida was wonderful, really creative time. Some of my friends there and I wound up creating a student activity for the students on campus, where it was a Grateful Dead night. We would get bands that would come in and play covers Grateful Dead. We would show old movies, old psychedelic movies, all beautiful, really fun time. Oh, it turned out that through a friend of mine, this guy Lance Hendricks, cool last name, he was connected to the Grateful Dead, and through his this work, the group was called the Disorganization of Deadheads, and we wound up putting it together, getting funding from the campus and approval to do this every Thursday night. But we didn't find out, lo and behold, Jerry Garcia finds out that we're having this activity, and he convinces the whole band to come play the school in 1985. I had caught my first show in 1978, in December of 1978, and I think we might have a little track from that.
Let's see. Is that zero? No.
No,
Which one is
12th.
that? December 12th, 78. Is
Yeah,
that the one I didn't load?
maybe not. So
I don't think I have it.
That's okay. Anyway, I wound up getting my degree in film and photography from the University of South Florida. And after graduating from University of South Florida, I moved back down to Fort Lauderdale and wound up working for the Fort Lauderdale Museum of Art. While I was there at the Fort Lauderdale Museum of Art, someone knocked over a piece of sculpture, a John R.
Which
sculpture. And I think we have a picture of
I do. Yeah, let me pull that up real quick. Here it is.
that looks very much like the sculpture that someone bumped into and actually knocked over.
Right.
And that provided the opportunity for me to photograph the sculpture and begin to open up to, well, what happens to artwork when it gets damaged? And that led to my first introduction to meeting with fine art conservators. I got very excited about the question of what happens when art gets damaged. And that led to working as an assistant to the fine art conservator for an amazing place in Miami, Vizcaya. Vizcaya is an old Italian villa that was built in Miami. Beautiful building. It was so fun to walk around the gardens there and see the sculpture. And I worked with my first fine art conservator at Vizcaya. He was amazing. He actually, one of the things that he did is he created his own paint that
Wow.
you painted old buildings. It didn't look all shiny and new. It was composed to make it the buildings still look old. It was and so we would mix big vats of paint with him, and that led to an amazing project where I helped to restore a Tiepolo sailing from the 17th century, Italian painting. Online, I believe I found a picture of myself. This is really fun. I think that's
Is that the one?
yeah. There we are restoring this painting. I was actually the first person to go up on the scaffolding. Before
Ah.
there, I am in my jeans and shirt, working with the conservator. But it was funny because he actually set me up there before he went up with a vacuum, and I had to get rid of all the spiders. It had
Oh
been up there
no.
for so long in the Florida humidity that these
Oh.
spiders were so big. I honestly thought they were going to sneak out of the vacuum and knock me off of the scaffolding. It was, it was the spiders versus me. And I think we have a close up of the painting just to show how beautiful it is.
Yeah, let me find it. Hold on a second. I know I got it. You sent those all to me. Let me find it. I had them all. I got so many pages up open here. Hold on. Where's the close up? Well, it was here. Hold on.
Got it?
The close up. Oh, there it is. Uh, if you could see my, if you guys, if you can see my screen right now, it's covered in stuff. So there we go. Share. There we are.
Alrighty, so there's the Tiepolo painting. Beautiful painting that it was sectionals, and we took down the sections and had to first line them with a special adhesive paper. I did amazing infrared photography of the painting before we took it down, and with the infrared photography you were able to see all the damaged areas. And then we put it on an acrylic and a paper up to protect it so that it wouldn't break apart as we took it down. And
Wow.
we brought it down panel by panel and began to work panel by panel to restore this thing. But that was in the summer before I moved to California. And so I continued to work with Vizcaya and did wonderful projects. But in 1989, in October, there was the earthquake in the San Francisco area. So I figured, okay, here's an earthquake, museums, object
Ah.
damage. leads to a good opportunity. Plus, through friends that I had in the Bay Area because of music, I wound up being able to move to work with the DeYoung Museum in Golden Gate Park and the Oakland Museum in Oakland, California. While I was there, two amazing things happened. I wound up connecting with a band that would become very instrumental in helping me to ultimately be inspired to go to grad school. And the band was called Zero. And I believe we have a little link
We
of
do. Yeah, we're gonna listen to a little Zero if you've never heard them. Uh,
this was made up of people like Martin Fierro, who had played with Jerry Garcia in Legion of Mary and was on Wake of the Flood. Bobby Vega, Steve Kimmock, amazing, amazing guitarist. Greg Anton, their friend, Doug
Martine.
Murphy.
Well,
Wonderful band.
here's a little Zero, and then we'll be back in. We're not gonna listen to the whole 10 minutes, right?
No,
We'll
just a
listen to a
few
couple
moments,
minutes.
yeah.
All right, we'll listen to a couple minutes. We'll be back. So here's some Zero from the Starry Plow, 1991. Sorry, I muted you. Sorry, you're
Okay.
back. There's little
So
Zero.
so that gave people a little taste of the band that helped me go through grad school eventually, Zero. They started out as an instrumental band, and Robert Hunter, who was the lyricist for a lot of the Grateful Dead songs, wound up writing songs for the band, and picked a wonderful singer by the name of Judge Murphy to sing. And it was wonderful because they put me in charge of merchandising, and they would have me travel with them all over the United States. Wonderful memories, wonderful times. And what I would do is I would wake up in the morning while the band was still sleeping and go visit the libraries and archives in the community to see how is that city actually preserving their culture.
Now I have you sent this to me because you just found this,
Oh yes. That
but
was
there's
fun.
proof. Here's proof right there. Zero merchandise.
It was great. We actually were working then in this office space that it was really cool. One of the people that had a space in that office was Sam Andrews, who's the good lead guitarist for Big Brother and the Holding Company. And it's a lot of great memories. And It was fun time. I really miss
Oh,
those guys, and whenever I see Steve, he and I get excited about seeing each other. And but unfortunately, Martine and Judge passed away, and
yeah.
brothers, dear friends that I love so much. And actually, I in my acknowledgments of my thesis, I wound up acknowledging them, and when I showed that to Martin Fierro, he started tearing up. He was so
Wow.
excited that
Well, you said you wrote some of that thesis on their tour bus.
I did absolutely. It was you know it was funny traveling around with him and all over, and great job during grad school because oh, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm flying to Seattle. I'm flying to Texas. I'm flying to Colorado. I'm flying to the East Coast. Right, and it's amazing that I was able to balance finish doing all my studies and
Yeah.
you know
And
but
and tour with the rock band.
yeah, it was great. It was
That's
freaking
awesome.
awesome. And so what wound up happening though is I put all this love into fine art conservation initially and objects, but Mickey Hart of the Grateful Dead wound up creating a book and doing a lot of research into how all the world has drums. Every culture has a drum. And
Right.
that became something that really inspired me into looking at the question of okay, so if every culture has music, what's being done to preserve that music? How are we preserving the films? How are we preserving the audio? So it's really Mickey Hart's work that inspired me. He wrote several books and ultimately wound up being on the board of directors for Smithsonian Folkways and then the Library of Congress. And now he's doing some amazing work in how music impacts the brain and
Hmm.
actually be a
And
pathway to Alzheimer's.
we have a clip of the drum project.
Yeah.
Let's pull that up so you guys can see what we're talking about. Here's the Nat Geo Music, National Geographic, Mickey Hart and the Global Drum Project video. We'll give you a little sample of what's going on here. Check this out.
Well, my father was a drummer. He's the one who taught me. It's strange, he started me very early. I was probably 3 days old. He would hold me in his arm for hours and sing rhythms in my ear. Yeah, but by the time I was 3, I was already recognizing sound and stuff when I heard it, so it was already sinking in. So at 2 a.m. every day, every night, I would be woken up. And from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., he would talk rhythms with me. Tabla is a muscular tradition, so each finger is like a piano player. So there are syllables assigned to each finger, and together when you combine them, that's where the phrases appear. So so it will more like da te te da te te da te te da ge tin na ge na. It's a language of the tablas. So you speak the language. So you first learn to speak, and I think that's what I did between 3 and 7. Then he started to sing language back to me. I already knew what it was. So if he said, I could respond, so it was like speaking to each other. Where were you? At the pub.
Now, I saw that show
Did you? There
at,
were incantations of it over the years.
yeah, yeah. I saw it at I think the Palladium in Hollywood.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It went on for a lot of wonderful inspiration in that began to my mind of, well, what's being done to preserve the world's music. And through that, I wound up going off to California State University at Chico. At Chico, I, I started off at Chico, but I didn't think I was actually going to stay there for my entire graduate school. But a couple of great opportunities happened that provided wonderful opportunity. I wound up first going in for museum studies and doing exhibits through and that was through the School of Anthropology. So I was really looking at our cultural anthropology and how do we exhibit anthropological holdings in a museum. But then I found out that they had an audio engineering program in the music school. And so, because of Mickey Hart's work, I began to ask the question of, well, what's being done to preserve music? And I pitched the school on allowing me to create an interdisciplinary degree. It was actually the first one in the United States in the preservation and restoration of motion pictures and sound recordings.
The very first degree.
Yes.
You're a pioneer, Lance.
I was. At the time, I could have gone to school. There was a program in East Anglia in the United Kingdom. But because of my friends and my passion to music, I wanted to stay in the United States. So Chico allowed me to create an interdisciplinary program that combined museum studies, audio engineering, and preservation. They were having me take tapes and bake them and transfer these old recordings or creating special projects for me. And later I would go on and do surveys on, well, what are museums and libraries and archives doing to preserve their material, and conducted national surveys. And that was helped by still working with the band Zero, because as we would travel around, I would go to visit these different libraries and archives in the mornings of the shows. And
Oh, that's great.
yeah, so I allowed them to help fund my tour through archives across the nation, right? And
That's way better than selling grilled cheese sandwiches.
yeah, absolutely. I did that too. Actually, sold shortcake at shows. People love their strawberry shortcakes. It was messy though. Between the whipped cream and the syrup, that was sticky mess.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was a really great opportunity. In that, I was vice president of the Jewish Student Union at California State University, Chico, lovingly called Chico State. And the president got kicked out of school. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, the vice president's getting promoted to the president of the Jewish Student Union, right?
That's great.
I
Not for him, but for you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know what he did that, I don't know whether it was bad grades or upset a teacher or something. I don't know what happened, right?
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm the president of the Jewish Student Union. So I started putting on events. Like brought in a folk singer to do a Hanukkah party and play music during a Hanukkah party. A lot of it was like showing films, playing music, all kind of Jewish material. And what wound up happening was really cool. Remember, this was 92, 93, right around the same time that Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List comes out.
Right.
Right? Wonderful movie. So the teacher, the professor, that was in charge of the Jewish Student Union group, wound up going to the U.S. Holocaust Museum for an initial premiere screening of Schindler's List. He studied Hebrew studies, and so he went to Washington to see this film. While he's there, it became amazing in that he connected with the director of the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum, and he started talking about a student back in Chico that's interested in preserving film and restoring and preserving film and audio.
Right.
Now I'm getting contacted by the director of the Holocaust Museum. Hey,
Hey, I
look,
got this guy up in Chico.
yeah, and they wound up getting me to go to Washington to save over 400 hours of music. The music was intense. It was originally composed in the Polish concentration camp Sachsenhausen. These were on old deteriorating and reel-to-reel tapes. And I wound up going ahead and being the one to transfer those to digital recordings. And I did the first pass. So there have been subsequent passes of the transfers since I did it. But it was wonderful. I was watching 60 Minutes a couple of months ago, and someone took the recordings. I don't know whether it was the ones that I did or subsequent recordings. And this person in Italy has been dissecting these songs and working with these songs since these initial transfers were done. And it was heavy. I took a train with my parents from Florida up to Washington, D.C., and started having nightmares on the train. And it was heavy experience. I believe the music was collected by music person in Sachsenhausen, Alexander Kulishevitz.
Right.
There,
I have a picture
all the songs.
of him.
We have a picture of him. So there he is playing his guitar, and while he was in Sachsenhausen as a prisoner of war, that guitar that he's playing, the Gestapos tried to take away from him, saying, "Where you're going, you won't need this guitar." And ultimately, he wound up getting it back after the war. They actually tried to silence him 3 times by giving him shots of, I think it was called diphtheria, which is, I don't know enough about the medicine involved, but it was something that
Right.
take away your voice, I guess. And 3 times people wound up getting the antidote for diphtheria and giving it to him.
Every time they give it to him, and then
Yeah, someone would like get him the freaking treatment. I mean,
Wow.
I wish that would happen with COVID, right? It's,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
And but very moving music. And what he did is, upon liberation, when the Red Cross, when he was in the Red Cross hospital, he wrote down all the words of the music.
Transcribed all his music.
Yeah, and for the rest of his life, he sought the people that sang the songs and recorded them singing their own songs if they had survived, or he sang the songs for them.
Wow.
60s, or the folk singers like Pete Seeger actually brought him to the United States, and he did some touring in the United States playing the music. One of the things that I got to do is, besides transferring all the recordings, I actually made copies of all the musical notation and provided that to the National Symphony. And the National Symphony performed some of these songs.
Wow.
And it was amazing. It was I had full access to the museum. I learned how to respect museums one night. I'm walking around the museum, and there's a cattle car on display. And, I'm like, very limited lights, right? Just kind of like the emergency lights on.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to check out this cattle car. And I go walking into this cattle car. The moment I get into that cattle car, outside, crack, big thunder, big lightning.
Lightning struck outside the museum.
Yeah, right outside the museum. There was a window in the corner of the museum that lit up the entire gallery. Right, I'm like, uh-oh.
Wow.
I hightailed it out of there quickly, right? Yeah. Grabbed my stuff in where I was working and just left the museum.
Oh.
And
I
I
went back the next day.
Turn around at nighttime in the museum again, right? It was like, that was enough. One time, it was like, all right. So we have a song that
you got the lullaby?
Yeah.
All right. Set this up. It's
one of the songs that was composed in Sachsenhausen. This was released on Alexander Kulishevitz's album. The translation is Lullaby for My Little Son in the Crematorium.
Wow. Let's give this a listen. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I gotta do that all over again. There we go. All right. Let's give this a listen.
Yeah.
We'll be back in 4 minutes and 28 seconds.
Yeah, we could just listen to a little.
All right.
Krematorium, czarne głuche, bramy piekieł, trupów stos, śliskie sztywne ciała wlokę. Osiwiałem w jedną noc. Oto synek, leży synek mój, małe piąski w usta wgryzł. Jakżeż ciebie w ogień wrzucę tu. Złote włoski śliczne twe. Lulaj, lulaj, synku mój, lulaj, lulaj, synku mój, lulaj, lulaj, synku
Yeah, so that gives you a little bit of a taste of the music that I worked with.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, it's haunting.
It is definitely haunting. It was impacting my dreams. It was but at the same point I felt so connected. It was funny, I actually grew a big Orthodox beard at the time and got very into my religion and
Yeah.
but it never lost the rock and roll Grateful Deadness in me because at the same time I wound up also interning at Smithsonian Folkways, where all the folk music is kept at the Smithsonian. And because of my experience working with in conservation, I worked with the museum staff, the Folkways staff, Jeff Plays, who I'm still connected with, and we transferred glass records, Jewish
Glass.
broadcasting, and folk music that was recorded on glass. Beautiful objects. You would look at the glass, hold it to the light, and you could see all the imperfections. You could see all the rainbows, right?
Yeah.
And what we would do is we would all clean it with isopropyl alcohol and distilled water, get the surface dirt, and while it was playing, while we were transferring it, I had to take Q-tips, and as it was digging the dirt out of the grooves, I had to remove the dirt in front of the needle and kind of keep that going, as long as
Without
the
slowing it
record
down.
played. Yeah, without slowing it down, and it was great.
Did that play on a regular record player?
That plays on a regular. They're usually 78 RPM.
Right.
Yeah, those are on regular record players. And the trade-off for me was really wonderful. I wound up, instead of them paying me, they have a huge collection of music that they sell Folkways was originally created by Moses Ash, and Moses Ash's policy was once a recording was released, it would always be available.
Wow.
Smithsonian Folkways have kept to that legacy. So all this stuff has been, all this great music has been transferred to our CD, and I would be paid in CDs. So I have all this wonderful Woody Guthrie, Leadbelly, Bill Monroe, Doc Watson, all this
Wow.
bluegrass, all this wonderful folk music that they would allow me to leave every day with. Stacks of music. How wonderful is that, right? And
Membership has its privileges.
exactly. So
Do you want me
let's
to
not play all three, but
Okay.
in honor of Smithsonian Folkways, let's go ahead and let's play the Leadbelly
Leadbelly. All right.
in honor of Black Lives Matter, and
There we go.
he becomes an important person even today, truly.
That's let's see, Rock Island Line.
Yeah.
All right. Here is. Oh, this is a short one. We can listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now this is Rock Island Line. I go out on people flow the train when they talk to the deep ways. Deep ways go that switchboard over the line, and they ain't never gonna talk time. I got goats, I got sheep, I got cows, I got hogs, I got horses, I got all livestock, I got all livestock. Now that old Rock Island Line getting on down the road. For the Rock Island Line, it's a mighty good road. For the Rock Island Line, it's a road to ride. For the Rock Island Line, it's a mighty good road. If you want to ride, you got to ride it like you're bound to get your ticket at the station on the Rock Island Line. Jesus died to save our sins. Glory to God, we're going to meet him again. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a mighty good road. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a road to ride. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a mighty good road. If you want to ride, you got to ride it like you're bound to get your ticket at the station on the Rock Island Line. A, B, C, double X, Y, Z. You got the end covered, but they don't see me. Oh, the Rock Island
Oh, it paused.
Line, it's a mighty good road. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a road to ride. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a mighty good road. If you want to ride, you got to ride it like you're bound to get your ticket at the station on the Rock Island Line. I may be right and I may be wrong, so you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a mighty good road. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a road to ride. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a mighty good road. If you want to ride, you got to ride it like you're bound to get your ticket at the station on the Rock Island Line. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a mighty good road. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a road to ride. Oh, the Rock Island Line, it's a mighty good road. If you want to ride, you got to ride it like you're bound to get your ticket at the station on the Rock Island Line.
That's good stuff.
That is good stuff. It was really wonderful interning at the Smithsonian Folkways. One of the days I had the great honor of spending an afternoon with Alan Lomax Jr. His dad was the person that created the Department of Ethnomusicology for Library of Congress. And he had created this software called the Global Jukebox that was amazing. It cross-culturally compared all the music and all the dance of the planet. So you pull up on a map of the United States and you click on New Orleans and say you put the other pointer to Africa, it would play examples of both forms of music and then show the similarities and differences in ways that, even people that aren't trained in this would be able to study it. And
Wow.
yeah, there's now the Alan Lomax Foundation. His dad was one of the people that toured the South, recording people like Robert Johnson and some of his early recordings.
Mm-hmm.
So from
Now-
that work,
Yeah.
I wound up completing my master's, and this December will be 25 years since I completed graduate school.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's amazing how it went.
It's amazing how time flies.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I could get credit for like the time I spent sleeping. Where's the complaint department?
Right. Well, speaking that, you're working with a good foundation right now that
Certainly.
is doing quite a bit to preserve old Hollywood and all of the above, right?
Absolutely. Should we go continue into?
Yeah.
All right.
Should we play that first?
We'll get to that in just a second.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, after getting my master's, I wound up going to work with Warner Brothers, and was at Warner Brothers. What I wound up doing there was really quite exciting, in that Ted Turner had acquired the MGM film library.
Mm-hmm.
And when he made that acquisition, that purchase, the pre-1960 Warner Brother collection was in there. So he wound up going to the board of directors or the shareholders at the studio and said, listen, I have your early films, but I'm not going to sell them to you. I'll tell you what I'll do. Give me 50% of the stock, and I will go ahead and bring those films back. So I was given the opportunity to work with the examination of these films, wonderful classic films like Gone with the Wind and Wizard of Oz. Worked with the early animation, examining the early animation material, and because we have so much more stuff to show, maybe we'll just show the clip of the Wizard of Oz for a second.
Is that the Sherman one? No, that's Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Pepe Le Pew, Wizard of Oz. Where's Wizard of Oz?
Maybe you didn't get that one. So
I didn't get that one.
Let's just go with the one other classic animation. I'm sorry, folks.
Okay. Hold on, let me share screen. Classic animation. That one.
So, because what I wound up doing is I was in the basement in the craft vault at the studio. There had been a flood. There was a bit in the basement. Above the basement, there was this big water pipe, and the water pipe burst open, and a lot of cans got water in them.
Ooh.
And I had to go through these cans and inspect them and determine what was still salvageable. So it was great because I was working with this early classic animation, and in order to do my research, I would wake up Saturday morning and watch the cartoons.
Like the good old days.
Exactly.
When's this? This is from when?
Well,
Do you know?
A lot.
What year?
Yeah, this one would be. A lot of these films are really early. I don't know the specific age on this one. Some light entertainment.
Right.
So we don't have to show too much.
Oh, 1947.
Okay.
Yeah, here, I'll take this.
A lot of these were actually shown in the movie theaters prior to TV being created, right? They would show we'll be getting to the newsreels in a little bit, but back when you went to the movies, you would see an animation, you would see a newsreel, maybe a B story, a B film, less a great film, and then you would ultimately see the film.
Yeah.
The bit, the
Now, was that colorized because it's a 47, and I don't. The film wasn't in color in 47.
Yeah, certainly.
Was there? It was colorized.
No, those are in color.
Oh, there was. Okay.
Absolutely. early animation, and that's where, like, Wizard of Oz, for example, is 1939, right? You by then they certainly had color films.
Okay.
There was one of the early processes was Technicolor, and Technicolor was basically projecting film, different strips of film that would be ultimately red. I think it was three colors: red, yellow, and cyan, I believe, and they would be put together as a matrix to create the color.
Color. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why when you look at 1939 and for Hollywood films, there's all those films are like Wizard of Oz, Robin Hood, it's a lot of color films by 1939.
Okay. Well, and Turner went and redid a lot of those old movies when he bought it.
He wound up colorizing them, and unfortunately did a very poor job.
Yeah, he did.
And it's
Because he didn't have Lance on the job.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wound up that he didn't do enough research, or they didn't have the colors properly placed. And now in the United States, I don't think there's any places that will colorize. We work with companies that will colorize films, but they're all in France, United Kingdom, I believe one, New Zealand. The one in New Zealand is connected to Peter Jackson because they did that World War One film last year where they colorized those films. But while I was working at Warner Brothers, I also worked at Warner Home Video Legal Department, and it was during that time that I began to look at legal copyright and begin to study legal copyright. In fact, they had a full encyclopedia set of law books, and I wound up reading through the entire series. In fact, the attorneys would come to me, and they were like, "Lance, what are you doing? We didn't even do that in law school." And my answer was like, "Listen, I either go to law school or I read these books. It seems easier and simpler right here,
You knew more than they did.
Yeah, and so I gained all that knowledge from the books. Copyright laws change, but the basics of it certainly apply still. And so after that, I wound up working on an amazing project. I was then sent to work in underground storage facilities that Iron Mountain owned. Bonded Archives was another storage facility. Iron Mountain recently purchased Bonded Archives, but I was sent to the underground storage facilities in western Pennsylvania. And
I've seen clips of that. They had an episode of Jack and Ozzy's show. Ozzy Osbourne and his son went there to visit the archives.
Ozzy does a lot of recording actually under there. He probably likes the fact that it's a cave. He's probably looking for bats to right?
That's funny.
But I was hoping we could show the viewers what the ground storage facility looked like.
Yeah, that's the Iron Mountain.
Yeah. It's an amazing facility. When I first got there, they did a golf cart driving test. And before they would issue you a golf cart, they gave me I had to take a test on how to drive a golf cart. And
it's not that hard.
No, exactly. But it was more about like the rules and
Right. All right, here, let me hit play on this.
Amazing facility.
All right, here inside Iron Mountain.
Underground is good for the records. We've got a constant temperature, a constant relative humidity, and the seasons don't change. A lot of folks, when they come here, perhaps yourself included, they have a preconceived notion. I'm going underground. The roof is going to be very low. There's going to be stalagmites and stalactites, and that's in a cave, certainly. This is a mine. So this is 100% man-made. And we try to create an office environment, a work environment that's going to be comfortable for the couple thousand folks that come here every day.
Let us face, without panic, the reality of our times. The fact that atom bombs may someday be dropped on our cities.
It was at the peak of the Cold War, and the Russians had the bomb, we had the bomb, folks were concerned of nuclear attack. So the defense industry went to their primary defense contractor, who was U.S. Steel, and said that you should take precautions for the preservation of your vital information. So they set about the task of trying to find what was then called a hardened location underground, and looked at dozens of mines that U.S. Steel operated and settled upon this one. The facility that we're in is enormous. We operate now in about 145 acres of space. The mine is about 1,000 acres. It's really like an underground city. While we can't get into the details as to who the clients are, they certainly would include all of the major motion picture film studios, as well as the studios that maintain recorded sound. So if you listen to the radio, or you're watching television, or you go to the movies this weekend, there is an excellent chance that the originals or the masters would be stored underground at our facility. Our clients come here because they're looking for the protection of their information. They want it to be safe and secure, and we try to maintain, and they enjoy that quiet enjoyment of the facility. So here's a good example of a temperature and humidity controlled vault. It's a small area. There's a small dehumidification unit on the right-hand side, but this particular customer only needs the temperature that Mother Nature gives us. So there's not a refrigeration unit that's hooked up to this. This is a new area that we're developing for the installation of generators. You can see on the left-hand side, we've got one generator installed. So these generators, there's 26 of them, and they're only used for normal backup purposes. So in the case of National Geographic, their space is maintained at 50 degrees Fahrenheit and a relative humidity of around 30%. That's great for the assets that are inside there. And then they have another room that the temperature is 35 degrees, even colder. And we need a lot of HVAC equipment, refrigeration equipment in order to achieve those results. What's inside there is determined by National Geographic, but I suspect that it's really the crown jewels. Don't have anything frozen, don't have anyone's head inside the facility. We're not offering those types of arrangements to folks. So our focus is on business, media, information management, motion picture film or videotape, audio tape, paper records.
Is the Ark of the Covenant there?
The emergency relocation site was a theme
I think that's
in the
on
early
one of the
50s.
dock shelves.
Not as much anymore, as we've morphed into
Moses
a site where we're able
tablets.
to leverage the
Moses
advantages of
tablets
being
of that,
underground, which is the stable environment and the security,
Noah's
every single
Ark.
point to come into
Yeah.
the facility and go out. We're not really open to the public. We're not really accepting folks with open arms in the event that there would be a disaster of some sort outside there.
So in the event of the zombie apocalypse, you're safe.
I think we're safe. Yes, I think we're safe.
Wow, that is. I think we could probably do an hour on just that place.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
So huge. And it was funny, one day I'm like driving around, I actually got lost. It was so huge.
Yeah.
Take a left, take a right, take another left. I'm like, okay, I don't know which way is front.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
If you get-
I ran into one of the service workers that knew how to help me figure out the right way, because I could have easily been a preserved skeleton, though.
Yeah. If you get to Jimmy Hoffa, you've gone too far.
Yeah, if you see Jimmy Hopper, you've gone too far. Exactly.
Turn around.
Yeah, exactly.
You found the end.
Yeah.
Oh, that place looks amazing. And do they do like general tours for people if they want to go visit it, or is it pretty much invite only?
It's pretty much it's so hidden that you're driving through this country area, right, with geese walking across the road, right?
Yeah.
In the countryside.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know it's there unless you're supposed to know that it's there. It's
Tony
so
says all the Cartoon Network syndicated series were archived on 35 millimeter. Were sent to Iron Mountain.
uh-huh.
Cool. A good piece of knowledge. All the
Yeah.
cartoons are there.
Yeah. That's where they have so many protected clients there. So security records is there.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Getting to go to Capitol Records, where
Oh,
there they let me pick some recordings on a CD.
that's cool.
A really wonderful box set of the Grateful Dead and a couple of other recordings, and yeah, it was amazing. I worked on Survivors of the Shoah. That was Steven Spielberg's Holocaust videotapes, and it was funny. Talk about needing to inventory material. You had 10 Betacam SP tapes in a box, right?
Big
20
suckers.
tapes. Yeah, 20,000 tapes, 10 to a box.
Uh-huh.
Tapes themselves were labeled, but there was no external barcode or label on the outside of the box. So in order to find what you're looking for, you'd have to open up like thousands of boxes to find the tapes. All right. So I came in as project manager to help oversee that inspection and barcoding project. And now all that material is a wonderful institution at USC. The Shoah Foundation is now at USC. Wonderful collection. And
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
doing some amazing work with the surviving Holocaust survivors.
Yeah.
They're creating virtual Holocaust survivors. They're bringing these people in and filming them.
Wow.
See? So
Yeah.
into the future could actually talk with them.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's all done.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was it's a wonderful project. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Jim, that Iron Mountain is in western Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania?
Boyers.
Boyers, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's about an hour north of Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. So way western West Pennsylvania.
Yeah, in fact, it was great. You'll love this. They actually had our season passes for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So while I was working there, they would give me tickets, and I could go to the Pittsburgh Pirate games and
Three Rivers.
yeah, the old stadium exactly. So
Yeah.
continue on.
We got more to look at.
Yeah, we got more to look at. Running out of time here.
Oh, we're all right. If you guys, I'm sure anybody watching doesn't mind if we go over a little bit because this is fascinating.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, we're good. We got a couple more things to get through, but stick around. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up, including some never before seen footage of Jimi Hendrix at the Hollywood Bowl,
Exactly.
which I'm looking forward to seeing. But we're saving that. So then you went to Georgia.
Yeah. So after that, I wound up going to Georgia. I worked for the Georgia State Archives. It was really exciting time. I went to Georgia in 2000 and wound up meeting the woman that I love and miss so much, Laura, in Atlanta. And it was wonderful. While I was there, I wound up, the State Archives was in an old building that had been built in the 1950s. A building with no windows at all. It looked like a giant mausoleum. It was just, you came in on the ground floor, and above there were giant vaults. I think there were actually, 13 floors of vaults.
Wow, it's like a bunker.
8 records. Right? And I was part of the team to actually pack up the entire State Archives and help it move to a brand new facility. I was involved with doing a analysis of different ways to store film and audio recordings. Did an amazing study of the different costs associated with different ways to store. I was involved with helping to eventually design the vaults that are in the new State Archives building, the new Georgia Archives. Worked with architects and the conservation team. And it was wonderful. The state would send me all over the state, helping museums, libraries, and archives put together plans to preserve and provide access to the media collections.
Wow.
And after the move, several years later, they wound up taking this old building, and I think we have footage of it,
Of them imploding it?
demolition of it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
How to get rid of an old state archives building is quite amazing.
I can't believe you found this footage. I can't believe it's online, but it's cool that it is.
Yeah. So
check-
here's the state archives, right? It's like a giant
Right.
mausoleum. Imagine floor by floor. And this is the destruction of the Georgia State Archives old building.
In slow motion.
In slow motion, yeah. Is this slow motion or is it I guess so.
No, it's slow motion.
Yeah. That's
Either
amazing.
that or my brain just slowed down.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Boom.
Wow.
Take down 13 floors like that.
Woo!
Right?
That's
Look how close it is to the highway.
I know. Is that Atlanta?
That's Atlanta.
Yeah.
The capital is right across the street from there.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the old Turner Field. See, like that tower on the left?
Yeah.
That's where the Olympics were held, and that's where Turner Stadium was.
Oh, okay.
Brave Stadium.
Boom.
Field.
Down it goes.
Yeah, look at that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Fortunately,
then-
we got all. Fortunately, we got all the films, all the documents, everything out of there before they did that, right?
Yeah, right. And then you moved it, and then we have video of the new space, right?
Yeah, we have video of the new.
Let's just roll into that bean footage.
Yeah.
So here's the new space that they
And it was
moved all
funny.
that stuff into.
Yeah. So what they wound up doing was no windows in the old building. On the
Right.
new building, the whole front is glass.
Oh, right on.
Right.
So here, let's check that out.
Yeah, and it's an amazing facility.
Yeah, we can talk over it if you want to. That's
Georgia Archives collects, preserves, and provides access to Georgia's historical records.
Now I bet there's a lot of Civil War stuff in there.
There is. I actually was responsible for packing the charter that King George signed to create the colony.
Wow.
Yeah. So I kidded with my friends saying that I
Georgia
worked
Archives,
with.
you can dig back one generation at a time and try to find those ancestors that led you to be where you are today.
If we would have
Their
lost that
finding aids
charter,
are
we'd get a
great,
call from the
and
Queen.
the records have been well inventoried, and,
Yeah,
and those
probably.
include the wills, deeds,
I
marriages.
got something you might be interested in. You want to buy it?
All right.
You want to buy Georgia back?
You need to come and find your people and let their voices be heard.
Also, they have copiers for where you can copy pages of books to a flash drive, so it's very modern and up to date.
Oh, there's the Royal Charter.
Oh, the
So it
King
is our
George
great
Charter.
privilege to be custodians of Georgia's rich history, and we hope to see you soon.
Well, that's a great looking building compared to the bunker that the last place was.
Right? Hopefully they don't have to demolish this one too soon.
Ah, no. When did they build that?
It was we did the move from 2000 to 2006.
Okay, so it's been there for open for 15
14
years.
years now, yeah.
Cool.
But now, of course, with COVID, I think it's pretty much by appointment only.
Oh, I'm sure everything's closed
Do
right
research
now.
there.
You can't go anywhere.
It was interesting too because next door was the Georgia branch of the National Archives. So you had in one facility you had the state archives, and next door you had the National Archives.
Very cool.
Yeah, that was a great project that I was involved in. I felt honored to be able to represent the great people in Georgia.
Yeah, and you got to experience some really cool things from a not so cool part of our history, the Civil War.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, one day, I'm having lunch, and this person that was involved in Civil War history was taking out all his family heirlooms. And he starts telling me how his grandfather was the Grand Dragon for the Ku Klux Klan. I was like, okay, well, you know what?
I got a thing.
I got to go back to work right now. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It was it was a great honor. I actually got to meet some of the first generation daughters of the people that served. There were actually a couple of women, older women, the daughters of the Confederacy, that had actually would put on a lunch every year, and some of them were first generation. Their fathers had served in the Civil War.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's it's hard to believe that they're still alive.
Yeah, I think that
They're probably not anymore.
yeah, I don't think so anymore.
Yeah.
But it was great. And then in 2006, I wound up getting the opportunity to come back to California.
Mm-hmm.
I was contacted by UCLA, and they invited me to serve as an administrator for a graduate program where the students were learning how to preserve motion picture films. It was a unique program between the library school and the School of Theater, Film, and Television. It was called the Moving Image Archive Studies program. And we have a little bit of an interview of me at a conference. We could just show a few moments of that just to
we can
make
do
me
that.
feel older.
Here we go.
At the studios, so often they know the true value of their assets. They know their library. We know that if you take a classic film that the public loves, no matter what media format comes down the pike next, there's going to be a market for that material. Sometimes they're wrong, but in many cases, the classic films are enduring films, the ones that people love. The challenge for so many archives beyond the Hollywood sector is a question that, in many cases, they were not the creator of the content. They do not, in many cases, really know why is the story important? How is it important? To who is it important? Sometimes it becomes a thing of providing wider access, even if that access is of lower quality and really not enduring, so that they can begin to assess and start to take studies of what stories are important. How do we begin to say who is going to be open to this? Who are these stories going to be important to? How will this be utilized? Many times, many smaller institutions also have the challenge of not really knowing how to market the material successfully. And what I try to do is to try to help them through the steps, try to go from the bigger picture of what they have to try to break it down into pieces so that they can put together a successful strategy.
And that's it. That's the ticket right there, is being able to not only preserve it, but then keep keep it viable and marketable and monetizable, right?
Absolutely, and whether that value is just a value towards intellectual or research value, or if you own the copyright and could create it into a way that it could be licensed and sold as a product, there's the needs to generate revenue, even if you're a nonprofit organization. The State Archives of Georgia, they came very close to going out of business because their funding, they were part of originally as Secretary of State, and they were having financial challenges even though they were getting grants. They ultimately had to transfer to Department of Education in order for it to have more of ability to have revenue or protect its value. It, a lot of people be in charge of collections at nonprofits, but with a nonprofit, you can't make a profit, but you better be close to breaking even.
You need to at least be breaking even.
Yeah, exactly. And there's focus. I actually left the field for a while and went and sold cars.
I remember.
I went and sold Mustangs, and there was an interesting look at brands. People love the Mustangs, but only if you maintain this sense of history, right? Because you buy into that brand.
Right.
Mustang actually tried at one point to change what the Mustang looked like and to create a new version of the Mustang.
Yeah.
No one wanted to buy it.
No, we call that the 80s.
Exactly.
Mustangs looked like crap in the 80s.
So the last 5 years have been really fun. I've been working with an amazing collection. I'm now the manager of the media archives and licensing for the Sherman Greenberg Film Library.
There's the link if you want us to go check it out, folks.
We have over
after the show.
We have over 36,000 films. It's like, okay, well, if we started playing one after another, we'd be on this shelf for the next
years. Yeah. There is some really cool stuff.
Yeah. And so we are always open to sharing the material for free to museums, libraries, archives, and schools. But we also license the material. And from my experience, I now get to work in licensing the material to different production companies and working with creative people to utilize.
You gave Ken Burns some footage.
They're one of our clients. We love working with them. Stephanie Lincoln, she's wonderful to work with over there. She's one of the researchers. A lot of times we're working with researchers at Smithsonian Channel or many different companies. It's a lot of
Discovery.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies that are interested in taking this material, and I helped to train my wonderful team to learn how to restore these old films, and then they're digitized and cataloged and put up onto the Getty Images website and our own website. And but it's still the same questions of figuring out, with all this material, we need to figure out, okay, well, what stories are important to who? I'm not the historian. I'm the one that's going to help figure out how to take care of this material.
You're the doctor.
Yeah. But, I know how to take care of my patient, but I'm not going to go home and have dinner with him.
No. Yeah. You don't know where he's going after you're done hatching him up, and you don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's so much good stuff in your. I mean, you have stuff from sports, from old Hollywood, World War I, World War II, and beyond. I mean, you have some stuff. We were looking through those clips. Was that yesterday? And I was just like, oh my God! There's 1916 baseball, and there's just some of the coolest shit.
It's some wonderful material. I love the calls. Like one day I get a call from this person that's a paleontologist at the American Museum of Natural History. And it's like, oh,
Oh, hi.
There's this dinosaur digger that inspired me that worked for the museum back in the 30s in Wyoming. And in looking at his papers, looking at his autobiography, I read about Paramount Newsreel coming to the dig and filming these people and how excited these paleontologists were that they were being filmed. We're wondering, Lance, do you have this film in your vaults? And we had never thought it to even look. I mean, dinosaurs. It's like I'm like listening. I'm like
Nobody ever calls and says, "Do you have any dinosaur footage?"
Yeah, exactly. I'm like thinking Bonnie the dinosaur, right? It's like,
Yeah.
what do you want? Dance or something, right? But we sent our vault staff, our general manager Bill Brewington, into the vaults. We had the film.
Oh my God!
Amazing. And so we bring it out, and probably first time anyone had ever seen it since the 30s.
Wow.
We bring it, we digitize it, we provided it to the museum. He takes the image, he starts to play with the contrast. On one scene, there's a paleontologist in the 30s making drawings of where these dinosaur bones lied. And by adjusting the contrast, he was able to determine that the museum just received that document. It was the same document that's in Israel. The museum just got a copy of.
Wow.
It was the original document. It was so they were all excited, and now we might make a documentary on that. I just love it when people see these films and they're like, "Oh, I know this person," or "Oh, this person's family is still connected to our community." Right? Gets really excited, right? So we pulled a couple of examples today.
Yeah, let's take a look at a couple.
Show
of them.
a few examples.
First off, we've got. Let's see, audio share. What's the first one that we're looking at?
Okay, so let's see if I can remember how I put them in order. Let's see. So the first one
Was this LaGuardia?
from 1934. It's on New York Mayor LaGuardia throws first pitch at the Yankees home opener in 1934.
Check this out.
I love this opener.
Right?
It's been a spectacular.
Wait, what happened? Here. Oh, come on. What did I do?
That's. I'm sorry.
I don't know. What did I do to that clip? Well, let's move on. Hold on, people. Technical problems. And play. Let's skip forward a little bit.
There we go. Is it playing?
When they play in Philadelphia. That's fine, Joe. That's fine. Right. Well, Joe, by the looks of this crowd, it looks as though the interest, the whole baseball game is still on. That's right.
Look at the quality in this from 1934.
Crystal clear.
Yeah.
I love how he's throwing over the top of the heads of all the photographers. They had perfect faith in his ability to get it to home plate.
Right.
Out. Now you guys, it didn't look like that when you got it.
Yeah, well, we're fortunate because the scanner that we use is very good on doing the transfers. We
Yeah.
used a 35 millimeter film scanner that had its software specialized to be able to handle some of the more challenged imagery. But yeah, that's the original. That came from the original nitrate film, and in many cases, these old films maintain very good condition as long as they're kept in all good temperature and humidity environments. So the next one is Earthquake Strikes Los Angeles. As
All right.
film and a
That's not
comedy
that one.
show on set in the Paramount Hollywood studio from 1933.
Earthquake Strikes. There it is. All right.
Yeah.
Share. That the one? The one? Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yep.
W.C. Fields is in here.
That is W.C. Fields. 1933, an earthquake hitting as they're filming.
Yes.
Young man, you probably saved my life. Now what can I
Now
do
this
for
has a
you?
little damage, but
Hang on. Yeah.
look.
This is not Hollywood trickery.
Yeah.
Get the hell off the set. He's moving so casually. Like, oh, I gotta get out of here, see?
Let the kids and the small animals take care of themselves. I'm out of here.
That's great. Oh, and then the next one we have is from 1935.
Yeah.
And this is a barbershop quartet, I think.
Yeah. Singing I Will Be Seeing Nellie Home.
All right. Blow that up. And here we go.
With the early production codes.
Paramount Varieties.
In the sky, the bright stars glittered.
Oh, come on. What did I do? Try that again.
I think what happens is if you take the earbud out of your ear, it's I've noticed when you do that,
Oh.
there's a
Okay.
relationship now.
Pauses.
Yeah.
Let's try this again. Sorry, folks. We'll get it. I promise.
There we go.
All right.
In the sky, the bright stars glittered. On the bank, the pale moon shone. And 'twas from and Dinah's quilting party I was seeing Nellie. Oh, I was seeing Nellie. Oh, I was seeing Nellie. Oh, and 'twas from and Dinah's quilting party I was seeing Nellie.
Yeah, that's cool stuff.
I think you and I could do that.
No, not even close. Give me a bucket and I still can't carry a tune. That's fantastic. Now, before we move on to the last one that you wanted to show that I have, I know everybody's been wanting to see this Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, the one that I'm showing is footage, beautiful footage from Nancy Carter's collection.
She's a new client, correct?
She's a new client. Actually, I've been working with her for a while. She, out of respect, I won't call her a groupie. We'll just say she had a lot of friends.
Big fan.
Yeah. She wound up dating people like Eric Burden, Spencer Dryden from Jefferson Airplane. She dated Graham Nash. She had a lot of male friends.
Right.
She's been working on her autobiography, wonderful book about some of her adventures, we'll say.
So she's like a Penny Lane.
Yeah, kind of like a Penny Lane, exactly. Talks about being with Jimmy Page and.
Or let's see, Penny Lane. Penny Lane's real name is Pamela Barnes.
Is that?
I think that's right.
But she.
You can check me on that, Google. I'm pretty sure that's right, though.
Anyone in the crowd?
Yeah, anyone.
And so what she has is amazing footage. She wound up getting a photographer to take some early photographs of bands like The Doors, The Who, Jimi Hendrix at the Hollywood Bowl. She dated Spencer Dryden for a while, so she had some wonderful Jefferson Airplane footage. And what I was going to share is a little bit of a Hendrix footage, and it goes into some early Rolling Stones material.
Love it.
It's beautiful. It's silent, but what we're trying to do is to always look for the soundtrack of this material, as well as to try to license it.
Yeah. So this is midway through the project where you've got the video, and you've cleaned up the video. Pamela Barnes, there it is.
Yeah, she has all this amazing material, but what we're trying to do is, in conjunction with a company in San Diego, Reeling in the Years, we help her license it.
Okay.
So it could be used in production.
Cool.
So because I'm doing this with the Grimberg Library and Nancy Carter and Reeling in the Years, when material is sold, I get a portion of the license.
All right, on.
It was great. I recently got royalty check for some footage, Who footage, Grateful Dead footage, some Hendrix footage sold. It's wonderful collection, wonderful photographs, wonderful films. So that's one of our clients that we're working with. We're also now working with the Circus Museum, the Ringling Museum.
Oh, old Ringling, that's cool.
Yeah, a lot of amazing circus material. They recently received a federal grant, a National Endowment of the Humanities grant to bring me into Florida. But because of COVID, we're actually utilizing technology, Zoom, to be able to look at their collections now.
Oh, wow.
Basically, what I'll do is to work with their staff, tell them what we need to collect, what information needs to be collected. And through utilizing technology, I don't have to feel like I have to travel to these archives now. Now, I just have to organize it and, get me the information, and then I could evaluate the findings and help them put together strategies that way.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it makes it much better than having to travel. And, it's kind of like having utilizing their eyes and hands, and I'll provide the training on how to do this work. And I'm also now working with a group of broadcasters in Buffalo, New York, where it's the same thing. They have all this material and trying to help them put together plans of what could be done to preserve the material.
Nice.
Right.
You had some Houdini footage. Did you manage to get that?
I actually have that. I could pull up in a little bit of that. Let's see the Hendrix footage for a moment.
Okay, let's go to Hendrix. And then we'll see, and then the Rolling Stones, and then we'll see if we can get the Houdini.
Okay.
But if not,
if there's any questions.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions while we're queuing this out, we can read the comment stream. So just put up your questions if you got anything you want to ask Lance.
Can you see my screen?
Did you hit share screen?
Okay.
Go to the share screen.
Okay, let me do this again.
All right, and then hit share.
It says share your screen, your entire screen.
You don't want to share your entire screen.
No. So, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Lynn, I know there's an echo. I've been trying to fix it the whole show, and it's just not going anywhere.
Can I move this over somehow?
Sure.
Let's move this. Okay.
Technology, integrate.
Then now I could hit share.
Yeah. There it is.
And then what are you saying?
I'm seeing us.
Yeah. They're saying I have like screens within screens. This is what.
Yeah. What you want to do? Let me take that out. Share, like, go to the share screen, and you'll see your entire screen, application, and Chrome tab or whatever. Right? You'll up on top.
So
You see that?
share screen.
So go to applications window on top of that.
Okay.
And then it'll show you. Yeah.
Now we can.
There you go.
Now I could hit share.
Are you guys loving this instructions on how to use
Right.
StreamYard? All right, here we go.
Are you seeing it?
We got it right here.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
And all you got to do is hit play. Here we go, Jimi Hendrix at the Hollywood Bowl. Nobody's seen this before except for Lance and a few people.
Look how beautiful it is.
Oh, yeah.
Crisp condition. Now, I believe this is a different Hendrix show other than the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's outstanding footage, and
oh my!
What they'll do is they'll take this footage, add it to a production, and then take some Hendrix music. If they can find what matches, then they can use that if the concert still exists, or they'll go ahead and use other.
I lost you.
So there's.
I got no audio from you. Are you there? Here, let's remove. Are you there? I lost your audio, Lance. I can't hear you.
How about now?
Here, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay, you should be able to hear me now?
I can't hear you.
No?
You can hear, everybody can hear you, I can't hear you. All right. What the hell's going on? People can hear you, I can't hear you.
Oh, interesting.
All right. Well, do you want to, let's cue up that, do you want to pull up that other, the Who footage?
Yeah, Rolling Stones. Did your AirPods go? Can you hear me on audio? No,
I hear you now. Earbuds.
Yeah, turn those off.
I'm doing that right now, man.
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Now you can? Now you can?
Yes.
We good? Perfect.
Yeah, we're good. Perfect.
So let's go ahead back into application. Look. So
now we're this is the Who.
Rolling Stones.
Or Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
Can you see?
I can.
Okay, it's working.
Yeah.
So here's some also from the same client, Nancy Carter, some very early Rolling Stones footage. Actually, got it out of focus for a second. But
Yeah.
but then this is all raw camera original, right, from the '60s.
Uh-huh. This looks like not an arena show.
Yeah. So this just gives you a taste of a current project right now, and
All right.
what they'll do is that people want to use this material, will license it to be used in a production,
Right.
right? And
Documentary or television show.
exactly, yes. So would you like to see a little bit of the Houdini?
I'd love to see the Houdini, but you got to set this up because the story is better, almost as good as the footage.
Okay, so let me see how. Give me a second here, folks. All right, so. Okay, so there we go. And then we share screen, application, and then there's the footage, and then share.
Yeah.
And
So let's set this up before you hit play.
yeah. Okay. So. Okay, so I can move this around. You're still good, right? You could see it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect.
You can move it anywhere you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So set the
Okay.
set the stage for us.
Yeah, certainly. Alrighty. So let me put it in pause. Let me minimize it. Give me a second.
No, you can leave it up. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
That's perfect?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened was I had wanted to go to the Magic Castle to it was Christmas time, and my girlfriend Laura was coming out to visit me, and
Right.
I had passes to go to the Magic Castle, but I called them trying to make reservations, and they tell me, oh, well, no, the soonest we could get you in, Mr. Watsky, is going to be springtime. So I wound up quickly thinking, oh, well, do you guys have? And I asked the person taking the reservation. I asked, oh, do you have by chance a library or archive? And one is like, oh yeah, we certainly do. So I wound up leaving a message on the librarian's voicemail saying that I'm calling from the Sherman Grimberg Film Library, and that we had all these amazing magic films. Next thing you know, I'm getting a phone call from the librarian saying, oh, I'm calling on behalf of the message that you left. And what wound up happening was, because we were able to share this with libraries and archives footage, we were able to share material with the Magic Castle. And the librarian wound up inviting Laura and I, when she came to visit, to the Magic Castle. We wound up sharing material with the Magic Castle Library, and through that relation, the librarian asked if we had any Houdini footage. I go back to the Sherman Grimberg Film Library. I asked if they had any Houdini footage, and he told me, oh, well, we have these 2 cans. I haven't really done anything with it. All it says is Houdini on it. And so I wound up going to the bench, winding the film down, looking at the film, realizing that, oh, wow, this is actually Houdini. I didn't know the importance of the footage, but we wound up digitizing the material, sharing it with the Magic Castle, and they, as it turned out, they were having an event where there were all these Houdini experts having a seance in the seance room. So the librarian comes in after the seance and is like, there's this person, Lance, that just donated this film to the library, a digital copy of it. Would love to share it with you guys, the Houdini experts. The Houdini experts review this material, and they're like blown away. They're like, "Oh, we've never seen anything like this before." And some of the footage they had seen, but the quality that they had seen was not even close to what this footage is.
Yeah.
And so we have started to do some presentations. There's a Houdini expert by the name of John Cox. He has a blog called Wild About Harry, and he and I have done some presentations of this footage together. So I'll share a little bit of this with your viewers.
Let's take a look.
So here we have Houdini. This is footage that had been seen before, but the quality, you couldn't even make out the monks' faces before. That's how bad the quality was before.
Yeah.
Here it's all crystal clear. Here we're gonna see them all get tied up by these people playing monks. Houdini actually was a filmmaker himself, and some of this footage was actually created for his films. This is very early 20th century material, so there's no sound on it. When I'm working with John Cox, he goes scene by scene. He's done amazing research into determining what this footage is, and he shares that with the viewers. Maybe at some point we could do a presentation where we show more of this with John Cox on your program.
That'd be awesome.
There's Houdini being tied down.
Yeah.
We don't see the escape in this scene, but that has survived. Unfortunately, not as good a quality.
It's all set up with no punchline.
Yeah, exactly. The Houdini footage is bits and pieces. But the quality for it being as early as it is just outstanding.
What would you guess the year is on this?
On 1907.
Wow.
And John Cox did amazing research into this part where this was filmed near Times Square.
All right.
That is an early magician, and that early magician is who, from what John Cox was sharing, was the model for the Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
Yeah, that guy.
That's Houdini on the right.
Yeah, and Houdini's wife. And Houdini's dog makes an appearance in this. Here they're doing some hand tying and knot tying. It's like material.
Oh yeah.
There's his dog. The funny thing is, Houdini's dog had his own little pair of handcuffs.
Oh, no kidding.
And the dog actually knew how to escape from the mini pair of handcuffs. Here is Houdini making one of his films. He did some of his own early tricks. Here he is.
Stunts?
Yeah. Some of the early stunts.
It's amazing the clarity of this film for being from 1906 or whatever.
Yeah, this might be the early teens.
All right.
Yeah, but look how it's crystal clear. It's amazing.
Yeah. It didn't look like that when you got it.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, it did?
Yes. It's fortunate how good the film is maintained.
Wow.
Yeah, I think of some of the films as grumpy old men. We all know people that have drunk alcohol and smoked every day of their life and lived to their 90s.
Yeah.
All right.
George Burns, 100 years old.
Exactly. Yeah, there's his cameraman, and there's there's Houdini's wife
Doing his makeup.
doing his makeup for the set.
It's amazing that all these outtakes and B footage and stuff you probably never made it to film, never made it anywhere. Just sat in a can for 100 years.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's awesome.
that it still survives as good as it does. Here's a scene where Houdini's being put into being beat up by like gangsters.
Do you know the films that these eventually became?
Yes, the Houdini expert was able to do that
Cool.
during the presentation. And
Well, we could do this all day long, and I would love to. But let's end it with a little clip from Mickey Hart's Brain.
yeah,
Because we started talking about Mickey, we might as well end it with talking about Mickey.
sounds great. One thing I want to add is he's been doing an amazing work where he's working with an organization now that has been doing a lot of wonderful research into the role of the brain and music and how he's on the board of directors for the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function, where he and his colleagues focus on the healing power of music for treating conditions such as strokes, trauma, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, and Parkinson's disease. The story goes that Mickey went to go visit his grandmother and brought a drum. And the grandmother had advanced Alzheimer's and hadn't said anything for a long time. And Mickey started playing drums, and she called out his name.
Wow.
And the doctors were amazed by this. And so this has led to his current research into how music impacts the brain. We have a little clip on that.
Wow.
I wanted to share because I still find myself being inspired. We started this production with my life's work, where I was sharing how his work and the Grateful Dead's work has always been a source of inspiration for me. And this he continues to do. And so I still find inspiration in the music and the sharing it with community.
Absolutely. So let's look into a little Mickey Hart, and then we'll come back and say goodbye. But here, check out Mickey Hart. His brain, at least.
Your brain on music. To be exact, percussionist Mickey Hart's brain, as he sees it react to music, so medical researchers can identify which rhythms might be able to treat different parts of the brain.
This mystery mind that we have can be used for other things than dancing and pleasure. It can be used as medicine, and that's where this is all leading.
As the drummer for the legendary Grateful Dead, Mickey Hart has always believed in the healing power of music.
When I played a drum for my grandmother, who had Alzheimer's, she spoke my name. She hadn't spoken in a year. That was power.
Accompanied by neurologist and professor Dr. Adam Gazzali of the University of California, San Francisco, and some advanced visualization technologies originally developed for video games by Silicon Valley graphics company NVIDIA, this unique duo is hoping to validate the science behind music therapy as a healing tool for brain injuries and diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's.
Mickey's wearing an EEG cap here, and each of these electrodes are detecting those very subtle signals that have rhythmic activity being generated by the neurons in his brain. And how the brain works in its highest form is that it communicates with each other through different rhythmic oscillations. This is live recording right now, Mickey's brain.
When I see that, I play into it, and I try to entrain with it, and I try to be in rhythm with it. So I am involved in a dynamic interplay with my brain.
For the most part, we tend to study brain data after we collected it. Where we want to go, and that's where we're working with NVIDIA in a collaboration to use the graphic processing unit to get better and better real-time data. Where CUDA and the GPU really excels is at these very...
We're buffering, so we'll come back. That's a little bit of Mickey, though.
Yeah.
A glimpse inside Mickey Hart's brain.
I got to see that at the House of Blues in Los Angeles.
Oh, I remember when he did that, and I don't remember. I think I was working another show upstairs and missed that beginning part.
It was great.
Yeah, it was cool.
Mickey and I got to talk for a while about my work.
Oh, right.
And preservation and restoration, and he was really delighted that I took his energy and built a career out of it.
And the circle is complete.
Exactly.
That's
I'm not showing you guys my brain.
No, I'm not sure that's a place we want to go.
Exactly.
It's like the tunnels under Iron Mountain. You get lost. Lance, everybody, for those of you who stuck around the whole 2 hours, we've been here for 2 hours. For those of you who stuck around, you learned more than you that could possibly ever learn in 2 hours. This was better than any college class you ever took. Thank you, Lance. I'm glad we had you on here, and you're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Everybody, we'll see you next week, and I'll tell you who the guest will be Monday or Tuesday, because I haven't figured it out yet. Lance, again, they can find your collection up at Sherman Grinberg
Filmlibrary.shermangrinberg.com. If anyone wants to shoot me emails, has any questions, Lance at shermangrinberg.com. And I hope that we keep providing access to amazing material. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And you guys can see the crawler if you want to follow Shakedown News on any of the social media sites. It's all at Shakedown News. Again, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out for this extra special 2-hour Saturday with Lance Watsky. Lance, you're the man. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.